Good evening. A 34-year-old man has been charged by North Battleford RCMP following a report of a sexual assault. Police say it happened last week. Randy Joseph Clark from North Battleford was in court this morning and has been remanded into custody. Clark is facing charges of sexual interference, sexual assault, and invitation to sexual touching. RCMP say he also violated his parole. Now his next court date is scheduled for April 9th. RCMP and Cold Lake have charged several people in connection with the break-and-enters to several ATMs around the Midwest and Lakeland regions. 19-year-old Jared Bryce Desjardins Janvier is facing a number of charges, along with an 18-year-old man from the Cold Lake First Nation and a 14-year-old boy from the Cold Lake area. RCMP say about $20,000 in total was stolen from the ATMs, and that 5 stolen vehicles were used to commit the offenses. Now, some of the vehicles were driven into buildings to get access to the machines. The investigation is continuing. Well, if you have had some trouble looking for a doctor in Cold Lake, well, that could soon change. Officials at Fort Wing have set plans in motion to reopen their clinic on the base. Now, documents have been signed to make everything official. The opening of the clinic has been a long time coming.
So 2 years we've been looking to try to get some help, trying to get some services on the wing here to help out our military staff, who oftentimes are unattached patients due to the nature of our work, where we often move from place to place.
The clinic, which is located on the base, is for all residents of Cold Lake to use for basic medical needs.
Any primary care issues, which is basically first point of contact into the healthcare system. So just like a doctor's office, essentially, and treatment, like suture removals, dressing changes, that kind of thing as well.
The clinic was closed 2 years ago as a physician practicing there retired. Now this left the city with only the emergency department at the Cold Lake Hospital. The reopening of the clinic should help with this problem.
I think it will definitely make a difference. It's hard to say though, because there's always patients or people that are coming into the area also at the same time that we're seeing these people. So I think Emerge will still be busy, but I think it still will certainly help with that backlog.
Officials began the process of bringing this clinic back in November. A number of people worked together to make it happen.
So with the visit here of the facilities and having the doctors in Cold Lake and the primary care network to come here with Arts for Healthcare and the City Council, and we had some dialogue at that point. We continued that throughout the winter months and finally reached an agreement.
The clinic will reopen on April 15th in the Canex building on Base 4 Wing. Meanwhile, Fort Wing Cold Lake has unveiled its new design for their demonstration jet. Canadians will be able to see the F-18 Hornet throughout the year at air shows, where it will show off its new paint job. Fraser Snowden has more.
The design, which was created by graphic designer James Beliveau, was themed around the 60th anniversary of Base 4 Wing and the 90th of the RCAF.
We wanted to do something that was a tribute to not only the Air Force, but the various iterations from its start in World War I all the way to the present day, and its renaming as the RCAF back in 2011.
Captain Adam Runge will be at the controls for the jet's big debut in this year's air shows.
We know we have a really good show in line. I'm just hoping to perfect it in the next month here, so I can take this beautiful jet behind me and show the Canadian public what talent we have here on 4 Wing.
The demo jet, which took almost 5 weeks to complete from start to finish, also entails a number of maple leaves. Beliveau says there is a meaning to them.
I wanted to capture in a very symbolic way the history of the Air Force, everything from the ashes of World War I through to Canada's sense of identity that came out of that conflict.
He adds this jet is not only designed to look good in the air, but to showcase 4 Wing.
It's kind of an interesting marriage of the flash and the operational. It is at its heart, this is an operational fighter aircraft, but at the same time it is made to both celebrate and inform the public about what we do.
Cold Lake residents will get a chance to see it in action later this year with the Snowbirds. In Cold Lake, Fraser Snowden, Newcap News.
The Lloydminster chapter of the MS Society is asking for more people to register for its annual MS Walk. It's the 16th edition of their biggest fundraiser held within the city.
Numbers are lower than they've been in our history.
The MS Society hopes to see at least 450 people at this year's walk, but at this moment they are far from meeting that goal.
I think people sometimes wait until the weather feels a little bit more like spring before they actually register for the event. But we really want to emphasize this is a pledge-based fundraising event. So the sooner people register, the greater their chances of being able to generate significant funds.
Despite the low turnout so far, the MS Society remains confident they will meet their fundraising target of $190,000.
That being said, we want to measure that against the reality right now, which is the fact that our registration numbers are low. And so we need people to take action. We need people who might be well-intentioned but waiting.
This year's MS Walk is on May 3rd at Bud Miller Park, and you can register online by visiting mswalk.ca.